And now it is time for you to see how to use Pixlr. Pixlr is another online website, totally free to use to edit your images, and you can do some really cool stuff with it. I also find that it might be a bit more user-friendly than Pixlr and GIMP. It's just a bit easier to move around. So I'm going to quickly show you how to start editing. I found that Pixlr in general, it actually does save projects that you have worked on. So this is one that I did about an hour ago. However, I wouldn't rely on it to always save your work. So it's best that if you are working, try to finish it if you can in one sitting or maybe two. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm just going to show you we're going to create a new image to work on. I'm just going to do the automatic setting of full HD. For name, you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it sample image. For width and height, it's automatically set in as pixels. You can't change it. That's totally fine. I'm going to press create. And right now, this is my image. Okay. If you want it anytime, I'm going to go through these very quickly, but up here on properties, you can change the canvas or image size, rotate scale, and change background color. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to click on that, and I can actually just rotate that just like that, because I prefer my images to be tall, not wide. So what you also might notice is here on the right-hand side, you actually have layers, okay? So right now, this is my background layer. This is my solid image. And basically, I want to add a new layer with an image. So I'm going to click on this little plus sign right there. And I can tell it right now what type of layer I want to add. I can do an empty layer, an image, or a text. In this case, I'm going to grab image, and I'm going to just get one that's already in my computer. Let's go to the clock. Give it a second to load like that. So when it automatically comes up, you can resize it to either be big or small. I'm just going to resize it to fit the canvas right now. I have this empty space on top, but I can show you what we can do with that in a little bit. So when I'm happy with this, all you gotta do is just kind of click outside of it and my image is resized. So now what we can do is I want to crop the image, okay? I want to get rid of all this empty space. So this crop tool right there, pretty simple. You just click and drag like that. And click outside. Click, nope, sorry. Like this, and then I'm just going, to click enter. Okay, so I have my image right now, and I'm going to show you some cool little options that we have as well, okay? So besides crop, there's also cutout. This kind of works as your magic wand or your layer mask. Well, basically, you want to make sure that you click on the layer you want to work on. And these are my tools. You have a shape cutout, magic cutout, draw cutout, and lasso cutout. So I'm going to show you quickly how you can actually use all of these, okay? So for magic cutout, it works just like a magic wand. So in this case, I don't want the sky there, okay? So making sure I have my magic cutout, I'm on remove. I'm just going to click, and it automatically goes away. That's pretty cool, right? So I'm going to show you also how to use the other ones. I just did a Control Z to undo, or you can also undo right there. This is my draw cutout. So the draw cutout is going to come out this red, and again, I can always control the size to make it bigger, or I can also make it smaller. And what this does is essentially wherever I paint with my brush, only that goes away. So this actually works very similarly to your layer mask. However, the problem is it's not as easy to do, especially if you are working without a mouse, which I don't know if all of you have access to right now. So this is an option for you, but not necessarily the best option. If you want to bring back to, you can always kind of just paint over like this. So literally exactly like our layer mask. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, and then for lasso cutout, this works like a lasso tool, okay? And so basically I'm gonna make a circle around what I wanna bring back, but if I wanna get rid of something, go to remove, and I'm just gonna make a nice big circle like that. And then maybe let's say I'm like, oh no, I don't like this little tower right there. I can even just do that. Okay. So that's very briefly how to use these cutout tools. Just for kind of time's sake, I'm just going to use my magic tool to cut out all of this. Or I would if it would let me. See, even I have tech issues too, guys. Especially when learning all this new stuff. I know it's like overwhelming sometimes. There we go. It's about right. So I have my clock tower and I have kind of like this empty background now, okay? What I actually want to do is I'm going to show you guys how you can have something in that background, okay? So what we can do is we can add another new layer. I'm going to keep it empty for now. And just like in Photoshop, we can rearrange our layers, okay? So if I know I want the sky to show up, what I can actually do is I can go into a separate tab, just do Control T or Command T. Yeah, Control T. And then in Google search, you can find a galaxy image, you can copy image, and then to paste it, you do Control V to paste it in. Okay. You always need to make sure, however, that in order to actually move it, you have to go back to the arrange button on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, that's the only way to do it. So I'm going just to make this a bit bigger like that. You can also even kind of rotate your image like this. Just an option for you. So I'm making sure that it's going to cover up what the sky is like this, and moving my layers around. I'm going to move my clock, my tower just on top like that. Okay. So already pretty cool. Another option as well is we have a lot of different things, but so for adjust is really cool because it works specifically on the layer that you're already on. So for instance, right, if I want to make this black and white, I can go to saturation and I can lower that. And what you're noticing is that only this layer is being changed. The background is still colorful. So it gives you a lot of control. So I'm just going to kind of mess with this, kind of make it look a bit more outer spacey, maybe a bit more blue toned. You have light, you can make it brighter and darker, exposure, and you even have all these other options of toning and fill and curves, but just stick with this for now. That's totally fine. So I'm kind of making it a bit more galactic looking, if you will, like that. Okay. And then if we go to filter, basically, again, you have a lot of different options. So for sharpen, you kind of play around with that. Clarity. I'm not going to go through all of them right now, but definitely something to check out later on. If you want, you can always just reset it to 0. For effects are pretty cool. I really like the artsy effects. And what you can do is just like how you would apply a filter in Instagram, kind of, you can click on it and you have full control over that effect. Like that. And if you ever change your mind, you can also click X. Another option, you have liquify. I'm not going to go too much into that actually. And elements. So this is actually really cool, but also very important. So you have overlay elements like this, and they look really cool. However, what you might notice is when you click on some of them, they're going to say premium, okay? So if it says premium, that means after a certain point of keep clicking like a premium option, it's going to come up if you want to subscribe and pay money. And we don't want to do that. So I would just kind of recommend click around until you find free options. See how none of these say premium? So all of these we can click no problem, and we're not going to get that annoying offer. So what this does though, it lets us add kind of on top of it this sort of effect. And with transparency, we can either lower it or raise it. And if you change your mind, if you don't like it, you can always click the little X button. So this is something that's just really cool. It can add really cool effects to an image, kind of like that. And if you ever want, you can always just go back like this. Okay. One final thing I'm going to show you as well is if you want, you can also add an image to your whole little thing going on here with this icon right here for add image. And so what you can do is you can browse your computer, or also even down here is stock. So they have stock images that you can use in your piece. And these are completely free to use. I recommend it. It's really helpful and they're high quality images. You don't have to worry about going to Google and then copying and pasting, but rather you can just grab one from here. So I'm actually just going to type in New York City, let it load, and I'm just going to find an image I like. So maybe I'll just start with this. This is cool. Okay. So it's going to load. It usually takes a couple of seconds because they are large files. Keep letting it load. And you want to make sure that when it says open image, you're going to add current. You're not creating a new one. You're adding to the current image that you are working on, like this, okay? So what I'm finding now is this is cool, but I'm now lost everything that's behind it. So I want to try, and again, I'm not really sure what this will look like either, but using my magic cutout, I'm going to remove that background. And already, it's looking pretty cool. So I'm going to keep clicking. And if you notice it's not really getting everything, there's some of it, I would recommend using your lasso cutout, and you can basically just kind of make a circle around everything that you know you want to be gone, like this. Okay, so I'm just very briefly doing this. Not perfect, but it's okay. Just kind of playing around really right now. Okay. And let's say now if I was all done, actually, let me scrap one of those. I don't like that I can not see through the vessel right now. Okay. So I got this cool little collage sort of happening now. And let's say if I'm all done, right? All you have to do is on the bottom, click save. And so for save, you want to make sure that for file type, you click on JPEG. The quality, you can go low, I wouldn't recommend it, medium, or high. Medium and high are the two that I would definitely recommend. In this case, I'm just going to do high, and I'm going to click download. And then if I open up my image, this is what I was able to make with it. So I recommend try playing around with Pixlr. It's I find it just to be a bit more user friendly. You can do some really cool techniques with it that maybe might be more overwhelming to do in Photopea. So yeah, hopefully this helps and have fun.